Oh, yay. Hello, Corolla. Oh, yay. And hello, Charlotte. Lovely to see you both. Thank you so much for coming back. And yeah, I don't know what happened there. It just said I went unstable, and then it said I came back, but everything was still frozen. So I'm guessing I did not actually make it. And so I was waxing poetic about what kind of colored pencils I was using, trying to get the light right so that I can stop that glare. There we go. That's better. And hi, I am glad you got me live today too, Charlotte. And hello, Lulu. Thank you for coming back. And thank you, Louise, and to all of the people who'll come back in the room. I just, you know, YouTube left me alone the last couple of weeks and had a nice steady stream. And then, of course, today it's going to do that. So it does happen. Hello, Elsie, and welcome back, Pat. And thank you to everyone who has come back in. And and we are coloring today in Stephen Barnwell's Equinox. This is an independent artist like I am, who independently publishes, and this is Guest Artist Sunday. So, yay for Stephen Barnwell. And we are doing one of the images in his lovely book. Now, he also has done a book called Angel Icon, which is gorgeous. But this is just an idea of some of the images that are in this book. It is uh, beautiful, and when it's colored, it's really gorgeous art. And it leaves a lot of room for interpretation with your colors and how you're going to do things. And this one is set up for the 4 seasons. So, like, this is fall. And I love this one because, like, these are all like lights. I think they're like lights hanging on chains, but I think there's little people living in there. Hello, Shara, and welcome back from New Zealand, my dear. I hope you are feeling better today. I know, and that whatever it was that you brought back with you was not that awful New Zealand or Australian flu that they've been talking about on the news. And this one is the one that I love this house, but I think this one is more, and I love this too, the cow who jumped over the moon, because look at how he drew the cow. It's both, got the elements of realism and sort of, truer illustration. And so you could do all kinds of very cool things with it. Hello, Kim. Nice to see you. I am so glad those books finally arrived, and my apologies for the delay. And this one I love as well. So, daytime and then nighttime, because you've got nighttime with the roots. Might as well show off this book. I did a flip through of this, but it is gorgeous. And I put um, this reminds me of the Hobbit house and Bilbo Baggins's house. And I love this house in a tree, or should I say a mansion in a tree. It's fascinating. I love this one. Of course, I'm all about the dragons. And I love this cloud formation because that doesn't this look like a person? I mean, it's not, but I think it looks like a person. It could be a person, a rock person or a cloud person. And the sunflower rainbow, of course. When pigs fly, that's summer. This I love because it's got water. You can see there's like a waterfall that comes out of this tree and flows down. This one is very cool. Yes, I am continuing to make the dragon book, Charlotte. It is going very, very slowly. So I think that what I may do is simply, for the time being, use the 6 to 8 dragons that I have got going and put them in my next book as a set of drawings, as opposed to an entire book dedicated to dragons. Um, we'll have to wait and see. Um, I mean, I could just get so inspired that I draw 15 brand new dragons, but I guess that what as you know, I do let certain aspects work on me psychologically, and the fact that there are just a ton of dragon books out there right now makes me feel like mine would just be another one. So I may wait until the initial dragon craze sort of dies down a bit. That's what I did with my mandalas. I did not release any, I didn't release a mandala book until this year, until May. Um, and because I think it would have gotten lost any earlier. Um, it it is well, it's not. It is hard to do it on one particular subject, um, and I think a lot of artists find that is the case, which is one of the reasons I like a varied book. A book that has, because I mean, I want to sell the book to both people who love dragons and who love flowers. And yeah, timing really is it. It is all about timing, and mine has never been good when it comes to my art book releases. The first year that I released a book, I missed Christmas, of course, so I didn't release it until January. By December of that year, I had 3 books out, and I was so thrilled, absolutely thrilled, over the moon. 3 books headed, into the Christmas holiday, available to the market. I thought, hot diggity, this is wonderful. Except that, hi Michelle, nice to see you. Just wanted to acknowledge that you said hi. And Amazon, I asked them to change a particular category that the books were listed in, and instead what they did is disappear all 3 books for the first 2 weeks of December. Unless you knew they were there, you couldn't find them. And because they weren't in any category. So that, you should have seen me frantically dropping links in all over everywhere, saying, don't forget my books are there, because you wouldn't have been able to bring them up in a search unless you knew what to look for, what the titles were. So I was not thrilled that Christmas. And needless to say, the Grinch arrived. The next Christmas was much better. Okay. So I'm just doing, these shingles in this brown. I could probably back the camera out or zoom in, whichever would work better. And I'm going to go back in and shade all of these as well. So I just want to get a nice layer of color down on them to begin with. And now these are different kind of shingle. So are those. And technically these are too. So we will wait and do those in a different color. The name of this book, Shara, is Equinox. And it is by Stephen Barnwell. And it has, of course, these are a couple of the colored pictures. Now, he does primarily digital coloring. And so these are his colorings of them. And they are just gorgeous. And see how, like I was going to use, if I use the tritones on this one, you could, because with those tritones, you can get all of that effect. And also down here, and of course you get the highlights by not going all the way to the edge of your coloring. But I especially love and I don't know if you guys can see this or not. Let's see if I can zoom down on it. See the way he's used light? And you know how he's colored it in and left the light. This is the kind of that colorist special effects thing. It's Amazon paper. You know, it is just standard 60-pound. You know, it's 60-pound bright white paper from KDP, which is Amazon, which used to be CreateSpace. So it is, you know, it's just your very standard coloring book paper. You can see it on the other side. So it's not thick or anything like that. But you know that I work in these books with water and with everything else and never have a problem with it. So there we go. Now what I need to do though is I think I'm a little too close. There we go. At least you can see more than one tiny frame something. So I could, at this point in time, I could change over to something like ink. And, you know, let's say that I wanted to do these in Willow. So I could do that. And, you know, because I know that there are people who don't like to use or don't know that you can actually use water mediums in CreateSpace books. You just have to be a little more careful than you would have to be otherwise. And once again, this is just a flat color that I'm putting down. And we'll do some shading on these after. And these are water activated. If there's anybody in the house unfamiliar with the way Inktense work. So I'm not too worried about getting all the little detail in there because A, I'm going to shade later. This is just a base layer. And B, I'm going to activate it with water. But that goes so much faster than the other with the pencils. And you know I love my Inktense. Okay. I do. That's I do. You know, there is. I early on I worried. Oh, you know, I publish with Amazon and nobody's going to buy my books because everybody in the world is a paper snob. And I believe me, I appreciate the beautiful paper that is in, you know, some of the more expensive books. But the bottom line is that if you handle your tools properly, you can color on tissue paper. It's just a matter of learning the technique for working on the paper that you are working on and realizing that every paper behaves differently with different tools. So, you know, like for instance, we all love Serene. It's a beautiful book. Excuse me. And those people who are lucky enough to own a copy of Serene are absolutely devastated by the fact that you cannot use a water medium in it. You cannot use its beautiful paper, absolutely gorgeous paper for pencils. But if you touch it with water, everything gets splotchy. And it just has something to do with the paper that publisher chose. But nobody has found a way to work with watercolors in that book yet, or any kind of water medium. If Dee Dee Willingham can't do it, then nobody can. And she says water is no bueno in that book. Uh, oh, I did do a wish list. I have a wish list. Yes, and there is in fact a link for it. I don't advertise that I have a wish list, just like I don't advertise that I have a PayPal tip jar either, because that is not, you know, that is not why I'm here. That is, that is not why I do YouTube. Beside which, if I put stuff on it, you guys, you are too much. So I am very careful. Like, you know, the stuff that I looked and shopped at today, that's on my shopping list, and that is private. That is not on my wish list. As much as I might wish for a new computer, Lord knows one of you generous people would have the puppy sitting on my doorstep, and I could not deal with that. I love you all so much for your generosity, but that is not why I do this. I do this because I want to A, visit with you, and B, show you the stuff that I draw, and be your friend and hear about your lives, and interact with people who like my art and who like art in general. And that is why I stream. It really truly isn't for the presents. Although I've heard some people who refuse to believe that. Oh well. Okay. So my little beachy house, I actually like that color much better. But we should do a red. We've got saddle brown. What color is this? That's thistle. We probably do not want to use that. Oh, here's amber. We'll use amber for the front of the house. It is a gold color. However, all the lovely coloring supplies that I have are so greatly appreciated, and including especially the fact that this book was a gift from my wish list as well. So yeah, exactly. Dee Dee can do what no one else can. If it's possible, Dee Dee can do it. And even she had a hard time trying to use a watercolor or a water medium in Serene. And you know, her coloring in that book is so, so beautiful. By the way, for anybody that missed it, oh, and it really benefits from being shown. Oh, look at how gorgeous this turned out with those gold watercolors that I made. So I am just thrilled with this. This actually is, I had a fantastic time coloring this. I really did. And it's just simple, straight coloring, just CLAldridge markers and a little bit of, gold glitter pearl watercolor and a steady hand. So I was just so thrilled with it. Thank you, Corolla. And there's actually it's kind of long. I did it. I filmed the entire thing. I wasn't going to, but then I did. That is, of course, what sent me then on the because it those are hour videos, but they take 6 hours in my renderer to render, or they're slightly longer than an hour, um, and that ties my system up. Either I have to make it work all night while I sleep, or it ties it up for a goodly portion of the day. So the but I can do lives. I can do a live stream, and it's not taxing on the system at all. The problem is that you can't edit it. So, and when all you guys aren't here, I have a really tough time staying in my chair. Um, I want to get up and go eat something and grab a cup of coffee and all I really need to do is prepare and do a private live all alone, and then just post it, make it public. Um, and I could solve the issue, but I wouldn't be able to put any of my little fancy stuff on it. And I know that Belinda does, but she's also got a much bigger computer than I do. So, oh, good, we're good. Yeah, I'd love to be able to make one of those 3-hour jobs that and that's really what I'm aiming for. The part of it, the issue for me also is that I've been on Windows 7 because I loved it, and I tried to get on Windows 10, but it at the time it did not support my printer, and so I said no. I'll just when I upgrade my computer or update it, then I'll figure out what I need to do. And ultimately what happened is that now they're going to discontinue any kind of support for Windows 7 because it's so old. So all of us on Win 7 are going to have to go to Windows 10 or have no support from Microsoft, which means, of course, there won't be any patches or fixes for some of the nasty bugs and viruses and things like that that come down the pike. Any of the security breaches that people discover or build, won't be handled, that kind of thing. So when a company like Microsoft actually stops altogether supporting a piece of software, it's time to upgrade. Okay. Now this is actually not turning out to be very interesting looking, but wait, it will be, I promise. You notice how I snuck in using the Inktense, right? We'll shade with pencils. Bye, Lulu. Have a good Sunday. Thank you so much for coming. And okay, and so for people that have come in that don't know, I am working in Stephen Barnwell's first coloring book, and it is called Equinox, and it is based upon its illustrations based upon the his take of the seasons, and it looks like this. And this is his name, Stephen Barnwell. Okay, so now what I want to do is we can do the trims. Well, maybe. Actually, you know what? I'm so bad about loving neutral colors, excuse me. And I just saw the way that sort of darkened in looked with this. I think it looks really pretty. So let me do that because I might change it to the matter color as well. Okay. Yes, I think I am going to. I'm liking that. Excuse me. Jeez. I have no excuse for. I even warmed up my voice this morning. Well, it was first thing this morning. And oh, you do? Ears. I'll show you guys something because I'm sort of obsessive about my Inktense, right? There it is. So whenever I have to sharpen Inktense, which since I was working in the Dramenwanger, I was using the purple and the pink, and I had to sharpen. Now, just the little bit of shavings from this M&R of sharpening these two pencils. And as you can see, they're not super sharp. There's just, all I did was really expose more of the tip. But just the little bit of shavings has been all I have needed to do all of the work that I already did in this book, which is why I just get all wigged out about, sharpening my inktints, because if you throw that pigment away, it's just a waste, because I've used it to do all of this so far. But you got to, because I'm out of glass dishes, so I finally had to resort to using, my considerable stash of coffee lids. Fortunately, I must have 200 of these. So, and there's only 72 inktints, so I'm in good shape. And that is, I finally had to do it. That because I got to the point where I just couldn't use them anymore, because they were all, sort of worn down to the wood, and I was refusing to sharpen them. So, and that's just a tiny, tiny bit of shavings as well. So, just a minimum that I could get away with. It's pure pigment living inside that wood. Pure pigment. But I'm glad that you like it. And oh yeah, I recycle anything plastic. If it's plastic, it just doesn't get thrown out here, because I don't want it in the landfill. And if they won't recycle it properly, and most recyclers will only recycle bottles, plastic bottles. They won't even recycle your milk jugs. They'll only recycle clear glass bottle or clear plastic bottles, like water bottles. And it's like, well, then why bother? So I have to repurpose everything like that. And I have like in a hurricane, I put 500 gallons of water away, and it's in plastic jugs is what it is. And they're in the shed, and there's 500 of them in there, so that if there's ever a hurricane and we have no running water, I still have water. Uh, and it's something that I can do with my plastic jugs. And that includes the ones that the cat litter comes in. Because, water, you can always boil water. And you can always put a couple of drops of bleach in it to kill any bacteria. But I refuse to put all of those plastic bits into the environment. Bad enough that they got made in the first place. Should be putting that stuff in boxes, cardboard boxes. And if they're worried that moisture will get in, they should put it in a plastic bag inside of a cardboard box and not in a plastic jug. Speaking of recycling and interesting commercials and things like that, has anybody seen that new Drops commercial on YouTube? The one where with the naked guy in the bathtub. I swear, that commercial, that ad makes me laugh every single time I see it. I mean, I just laugh. He is so funny. He is so deadpan, and he is so serious. Let's see here. Did I actually wet these? I must have. Somebody who's been watching? Yes, I did. Okay. Uh, that's the amber. Okay, what color was I using? That's what I want. Oh, I know. Oh, I didn't have to wet them. This was. I hope I didn't wet the pencil. This is regular pencil. Okay. And yes, apparently I have lost my mind. All right, so now what we need is a color for the those. And I don't know what that's. I guess those are called the. Wait, I gotta find my swatch book again. Okay. Go to Inktense, and we're looking for. Ooh, how about red oxide? How about red oxide? Okay. This is red oxide, so we're going to try this on the ceiling or the. These are the bricks that go across the, or not bricks, but tiles. This poor house doesn't know what it wants to be made of. Shingles, tiles. Of course, I guess they could be shingles. Let's see how they look. Green, blue, and black. Cool. California is a great state for recycling. And I think so. I've heard so of Texas as well. Uh, Actually, I think Oregon probably is as well. I just wish more people took recycling, kind of as seriously as I do. It, I guess, if you've seen the continent that is floating out in the Pacific, that of just little minuscule, tiny floating pieces of plastic. Literally, it's the size of a continent out in the ocean, and it's plastic. Floats from all over the world and gets caught up in the eddies there, where the ocean currents. No recycling at all, Charlotte, even in an apartment building. You'd think that they would have at least, uh, but I guess people abuse it. I remember, I don't think we had it when I lived in an apartment building either. And I think mostly because every time they'd go out there, they'd find regular trash in that trash can until finally they took it out. Everywhere except apartments. Okay. It is destroying our planet. You are absolutely right, Rosemary. I try, I try, sorry, I try to make a concerted effort to buy things in plastic jugs or in glass jugs or glass jars as opposed to the plastic jars. Now, I'm not perfect at it. If there's a product that I need and it only comes in a plastic jar, I'm not going to not buy it, but I will buy the glass jar product over the plastic jar wherever possible. And I write a lot of letters to companies that say, hey, do you have to put this in plastic? Can't you put it in a cardboard box with, even if it's just with a plastic bag rather than this rigid plastic? Because I can find other uses for a plastic bag. But, how, how, how many jars, how many, how many buckets of water do I need? Uh, okay. So there is that. Now, got the willow again. I'm going to do the in for a penny, in for a pound on this thing. I haven't even started shading anything yet. The other commercial I just saw last night, and it is just hilarious. It's a long commercial, and but it's a Sasquatch family, and what are they selling? Uh, it's something called the purple mattress cover, and the mattress cover isn't purple, but it's the name of the company is purple, uh, and and anyway, if you see it, watch it at least once because it'll make you laugh. It is just hilarious how completely ridiculous it is. And wow, Kim, you actually get an option? See, we don't get an option. The trash bill is part of our uh, water and utility bill. And we have actually, here in Virginia, boy, they get you coming and going. We have the the city services, which is water, trash, uh, the storm drains, and the the piping that goes out to the sewers. So all of that is on one bill. But then you have the water treatment bill, and that comes from a place called Hampton Roads Sanitation District. And let me tell you what, that puppy, when you start calculating that they're getting about $20 a month from every single household, every single household in 7 cities. And this is a huge metropolitan area. That is a lot of money. It apparently costs a fortune to treat the water. And I imagine that that is probably the case because we are so close to the ocean. So it's not like, we live in an area where it would be, it would have ground to filter through, which naturally cleans the water. Instead, it runs off. If they clean it, it runs off into the ocean. And that is not a good thing for the fishing industry. Well, hello, Sean. Nice to see you. And hello to anybody that I actually haven't said hello to that is here, that is perhaps just lurking and watching. Thank you very much for being here. Participating is not required. It is appreciated, but not required. So, okay, so now I'm trying I want to add some contrast to these areas, but I also want to make them cohesive. So maybe I will just go ahead and color all of these in, and then we'll shade them from the outside later. This is really just the base coat. But it's working. Now let's see here. I should go back in and but I'm not going to. For right this very second, I'm not going to. What I was thinking of is I was never mind. I was going to shade it in with some grays, but I don't want to do that yet. These are apparently little shrooms that are growing up, mushrooms. So I'm trying to think of where this house is. It looks like it could be on a beach, but this is leaf green in the Inktense that I'm using. And I'm just throwing in a little color for just sort of color's sake. I wanted to make these kind of sandy looking eventually. So maybe we'll do a little tan, or maybe I'll do a little more greeny green. Well, actually, let's do this. Since we're mixing up the medias, we'll do that. And once it dries, I can see what it looks like and throw some other, because I want it to look a little patchy. Get so tired of that. Hello, winter, please come. Can hardly believe I had to put on shorts again yet all week. I started to walk out to the store yesterday at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was already 85 degrees. Like, you are kidding me. It is almost the end of September. How can it still be 85 degrees? Magic Christine? You mean the Inktense. Oh, happy Sunday, Nika. Caroline, lovely to see you. It's so nice to see everybody. Yeah, I like that. I like the way that works. And then I can throw in a little other colors in there. See, we can also, because we can play with this. What do you think about maybe some blue-gray flagstone? Uh, blue-gray. That would be a pretty color. That would be a pretty color. Wait. How about some Payne's gray and some pale gray and some neutral gray. Oh, I'm out of serviceable space here. Okay, so that is not in focus. My eyes are in focus. That is not in focus. Hopefully it is now in focus. These are, yeah, Inktense and Deli. I'm sort of using a mixture of the two. So now I'm just adding a very light shade of this very pale gray. And I could do this in Inktense, but why? I grabbed the Delis. So we'll do it with the Delis. And now I'm going to use this for a little bit darker in these areas. Make it look like stone. And then add a little bit of the Payne's gray. Sort of here and there. And now we also need black. Where's my black? What color is this? I think this is purple, actually. Yeah, that's it. That's a ridiculously dark purple. Hello, Christy. And I am absolutely wonderful. And I hope you are well today. You're having an okay day. Well, good. I mean, it's good that you're having an okay day. Thank you, Tony. That is very, very nice. And hello, by the way. And I am in, Caroline, thanks for asking. I am in Equinox by Stephen Barnwell, since it is Guest Artist Sunday. And I always share the spotlight with another fellow independent artist on Sundays. So today it is Stephen Barnwell. I say that like I planned it that way, right? Actually, I was going to be selfish and color one of my own whips or in Daumenbanger, but uh, see, the universe karma said it's Stephen's day. You haven't given him a day yet. And then, of course, this is an example of some of the artwork that is in this book. It is simply lovely, and it is a love book. So, yeah, it is it. Is it on your wish list? This is the more expanded version, I think, of this house. Maybe this house from the other side. Um, Let me zoom out just a tiny bit. Although I have my camera is suddenly working with YouTube again, and I can get pretty far away here, and I have like 20 zooms. There's 20 zoom levels that I can actually zoom you all the way down. Uh, but these are just some really cute illustrations, and he does very interesting art. Always art with a story, art about the journey that is. I'm not sure if he's metaphysical or if he is a religious man, but he has also done a book called Angel Icon, which is fascinating. It of course has angels in it, but it also has some beautiful iconography, uh, and so it's really lovely art, and it's lovely to color. And there's all sorts of symbology in it, and like the standalone rock, lots of signposts, different places to go, various places all over the world. And a lot of it is very stained glass like. You can color it in a variety of different ways. Um, he has a tendency to color it when he does his in these sort of I call them muted tones, uh, although that's probably not muted. Um, but this, I think, is. Uh, and there's always a lot of rays, a lot of sun rays and moon rays and things like that. But these are very muted tones, I think, as well. And so I'm not sure who colored the covers, and it doesn't actually say. So I know it wasn't Virginia who colors my covers. So, uh, yeah. Is that where it's coming from, Charlotte? Is it coming from Texas? Well, can I send it back, please? It's September. I want nice 72, cool, crisp nights. Not like in these 80 and 90-degree days. It was so hot the other day. I was just, I had to try to walk to the store, and I'm like, no, I'm taking the car, thank you. Give me the air conditioner. So then you just keep working on your rocks until you get them kind of where you want them. And rocks are kind of easy because they're really just splotchy. You just make them splotchy and they're good to go. Color some, put a little shadow of your rocks in down here. Actually, add a little black. And there are little doohickeys down here that are mushrooms. So I'm just throwing in a little color to sort of represent these little mushrooms that are down here in the grass. And this is trying to use the ink tints for this, mostly because I just don't have a brown out in the delis. And if it's ink tints, then you don't have to activate ink tints, but if you don't, why bother using it? Has always been my take on it. The Northwest is getting snow. So like what, Washington State and Oregon? Yowza. And really it's just a hint of color down there. And so then I can use some gray on these bigger rocks. Just a lighter gray. Just picking out some of the cracks in the rocks. Okay, stop doing that, Christine, before you mess it up. Okay, I don't know if that's supposed to be like concrete steps. You can make them concrete there along the side of the house. Color in these shadows down here. All these rocks sitting around. Oh, the Art Sherpa is going to be on live in 30 minutes. So is Sean, was that you going to be live or did Sean go? There's a thing that lit up in 30 minutes because my allotted time is over at 4. So, or I should say my allotted time. Like there's not a rule keeper out there. The time that I usually end is 4 o'clock. So all I did is I added a little bit of shadow down there so that it would look like these rocks and stuff were up against where the house is. And one of the reasons why I use the ink tints for the grass is because then you can put the deli over it, and it doesn't cover it up. So because I applied the green, sort of work a little harder toward blending those lines in. And that'll work. Okay. So now I need the willow again to do this pole. And I'm using this really hard because I'm only going to put one layer of this color on this, and then we'll shadow it with something else. But I want this color to be very solid on it, to look like wood, you know, natural stained wood. Not natural stained, you know what I mean, stained wood. And of course, another way to use Inktense is to take it directly off the Inktense pencil like this. And then you can use it just exactly like paint. And if you're working in a tight area, sometimes this is the better option. You do have to watch out though, because your bristles will get a little bit overworked. So sometimes you might have to put some more water in your, you know, squeeze some water into your bristles. Okay, now let's give our house some life by adding some golden yellow, and we'll add that in the windows because we have to decide if we want this to be a moon or a sun. But either way, if you put a little yellow light coming out of your windows, doesn't matter if it's day or night, the house will look lived in. Because it'll look like there's lights on inside the house. Oh, congratulations! Congratulations, Sean. Okay, everybody, we need to help Sean get to 500 subscribers. And congratulations, Sean. That is so wonderful. And it's such a good feeling. It really is. I know I'm working my way up too, and it's, you know, you just every subscriber is like a precious gift. Okay, and if you don't already know how to get to somebody's channel, there are three. If you hover your little mouse thing or over there next to the chat, there's three little dots, and if you click that, you can generally go right directly to their channel. It does not, if you're on a laptop or I think even a device of some sort, it doesn't take you away from me. It just brings them up in another window. I don't know how that works on a mobile, but hopefully if there is somebody who knows, you can say. And Sean, you can go ahead and put in, well, I don't know if you can put in a link or not. If there is a mod here who has access to putting in the links, then please you can put in a link to Sean's channel. And channel owners, if you're a channel owner and would like to, go ahead and put 3 little hearts in or something to mark yourself and say, hey, and say when you stream, so that people can have an idea that you do that. And that is perfectly acceptable. And thank you very much, Melinda. Oh, good. Okay, so that apparently is how you do it on a mobile. Thank you, Charlotte. And oh yes, Michelle's Adult Coloring Therapy and Chats. She is a channel. So yay, Michelle. I do not know if I am subscribed to you or not, but I will find out. As you know, I do read back the chat. Okay, so now let's do something with a little color in it. No, we aren't. We are going to we are searching out the colors. There they are. Oh. I am all together to spread out. Let's see here. Here is the problem. The delis are swatched on this piece of paper, and I can never remember where this piece of paper is. I am going to try 157. This is 154. So I'm going to try 157. Okay. And let me see if this is just a little too close to No, I think it's going to be all right. That's going to be hard to see. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to focus it, and I don't know that I've done a very good job. If I'm out of focus, let me know. Okay. And I don't know why it made me approve that one, Sean, but I did. So I'm just adding in a little bit of shadow here underneath the deepest part of these shingles, and that should give a little dimensionality here to our roof line. I'm not being very careful about my blending, but I will. I mean, I'll come back in with a lighter shade and blend it out a little more, but um, for now I just want to show you what, just getting some color in there. And going from there. That's it today. They are slow, which is I think why I'm actually kind of enjoying the mixing up of the color, the pencils with the Inktense. Because then I can feel like I'm speeding up and going fast when I use the Inktense, but slow down and do some of the detail work with the pencils. Starting to see why Dee Dee does so much mixed media work. This is probably one of the reasons, so that she can hop back and forth between the slow, sort of tedious coloring stuff and the stuff that's more exciting to do. Because you can get really mindless about coloring, or not mindless but zen about it. Just get into your own little zone and forget that there are 30 people looking over your shoulder. uh yeah, April Sarah, uh oh, Christy April Sarah. Is that her first name, Christy? I did not know that. I've always called her April. Eek. Or is she different than April Sarah, the book? Uh, yeah, it's probably all those menthol cigarettes that I've smoked all my life. But yeah, I actually do, Sean. Thank you. I do have some. But then it's like, well, do you want to listen to that click against my teeth, or part of it right now is that I've got the air conditioner on, house is closed up, so the air is stale. It's hot outside, so the air conditioner is having to work hard, which means it's drying out the air, which is good for me, but uh, talking and it's just six of one, half a dozen of the other. Bottom line is that I go for 6 days without saying a word to anybody except the cat, and I say, "Good morning, my love," as I'm pouring her food in the bowl, and then I say, "Would Kitty like a snack?" And then I say, "Hello, Boobala, what are you doing?" And that is the extent of my conversation with other people for the week until I come here and talk to you guys. Although I did make 2 videos this week, so I did do a fair bit of talking. And okay, it's 3:47. And I did put in a new, there's a couple of new drawings in the shop. So those are there. The last thing I posted was the honeycomb bees. And Sean, thank you very much for that heads up about being those were chosen, by the way. That drawing got chosen by a group that I actually was unfamiliar with called Color It In. And it's color with a U, a lady out of Australia. And she chose it as a favorite download of the week and in the group. And so it was nice to be able to go there and acknowledge that kind of thing. And I might not otherwise have known about it because I am terrible at following up on my tags. When I get tagged on Facebook. I'm not so bad about it on Instagram, but on Facebook, I'm terrible about it. Mostly because uh, I'm sort of blessed to be tagged a lot, and once you get behind, it's nearly impossible to catch up. So, and they don't actually make it easy for us. I'm not happy with the way those first couple turned out. And I think it was because my hand was not in the right place. Oh, speaking of hands in the right place and all of that, did everybody and anybody who's interested see that Alex got his zoning? So for those people who are following along or maybe started following along but have lost interest or track of whatever, Alex at Curiosity Inc. got his zoning for his new store and will be opening for business. And I loved it. The city council at Edmonton, in Edmonton, Canada, did all the initial work, talked to all neighbors, and got everybody's support. And so the city councilman said, "I am just getting nothing but warm breezes." So it's nice, and it's like, well, yeah, the guy's got 500,000 followers, and on the other hand, having a bit of celebrity in a residential neighborhood might not be the thing that a lot of people want, but they do say that Canada is full of people that are nice to one another, and apparently that is going to be the case with him as well. So that's pretty cool, yeah? Is that looking okay? I don't know. I think I may be so close in, and the resolution so close up that might not look great. It does mean tourism and attention for the area, Pat. You're right. And that is the progressive way that the city council did view it, and as did the neighbors. I.e., having Alex in town is a really good thing, and for Edmonton. And it's not like Edmonton is some shrinking little city, but there are people that go there specifically to meet Alex Archbold and go to Curiosity Inc., the show that they've seen on TV or on YouTube. And they want to drive. There are people that actually go out and visit the Potter's house as well. That one went too far. So you erase it. Speaking of the Potter's House, other than being a first-class nerd, is there anybody that doesn't think that the guy who built the door, you know, if you watch the series, there's a guy that Alex hired to build a handmade door, and he is just adorable. He's, he's, he's a, he is definitely he's an interesting fellow, and I don't remember his name. Austin. Yes, that's him. Austin. I think he is just adorable. And he is doing this tiny house thing that he's built. He built it himself. And, you know, he takes you all through it and all the mistakes that he's made and the things that he's working on and all of that. But it's innovative and so fun. Uh, you know, and look at all the YouTube channels that were born out of Alex's, you know, Curiosity Inc. You've got Josh and Jakota, you've got Austin, you've got his wife. Uh, oh, probably. Hang on. No, I do not. I do not. But spinning the book is probably not the best thing that I could do. He does seem a bit quirky. Yes. Uh, he does seem a bit quirky. Is a good quirky is a good description. He seems really shy, but on the other hand, almost not shy. And you know, I don't know what that's all about. Uh, but at any rate, but he's I think he's just not very comfortable around people. And that's something I can relate to. It isn't that he doesn't like people, he's just not comfortable around them. Oh, bye, Corolla. Thank you, honey, for being here. I really appreciate it. And hugs to Balu and Gizmo. See, I remember. And those are the cats, by the way. And for those who don't know, and they are adorable. Give them a little pet and say, I said hello. Unless Baloo is watching. Oh, I only have 4 minutes. And then it will be your turn on the hot seat, and I will be there to support you, Sean. I do want to say thank you to everybody who comes to my stream, who spends their time with me, who has visited my shop, and who has really, you know, encouraged my channel and the things that I do. Once again, I am so pleased to be able to feature guest artists and to bring you my versions of the coloring of various things and get to visit with you. So thank you for letting me be here with you each week. And let me back off the camera again. And I apologize that we did not get any further on this than this. Obviously, there will be some more bright colors going in. Sean is coming up next. That is Color with Sean. who keeps changing the name of his channel, but it is Color with Sean now. And thank you, Joe Beth. And oh, by the way, Joe Beth also has a channel, so be sure to tune into her later or watch for her. And until we meet again, everybody, color something pretty. And so that is the official part. Now I can say, oh, everybody, thank you so much for being here. Melinda, thank you for the job that you come in and do. And why are you not my mod? Why? How did it? Oh, maybe it's because I don't know. It's not showing any moderators at all. Well, let me just fix that. Say something, Melinda, and you are now a mod. Oh, no, I don't think so. I don't know. But I have, in fact, just fixed it. So, bye, everybody. I don't want to encroach on Sean's time. So, Sean, hit that live button. See you, buddy. Bye, everybody.